inside of you is the capacity to meet the needs of all those demands that are in your life. There is grace for it, and we can do it and still be sweet women. Women with capacity to be kind to others. Women with capacity to lead with grace. Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Tolu Akinyemi. It's an honor to share the same space with you today. If this is your first time here on Whole Women with Tolu, I share thoughts that can help women rise above limiting beliefs, become comfortable with their emotions, have healthier conversations with themselves, and be all that God has called them to be, which is to be whole. If this sounds like something that interests you, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for being here again. Have you ever been in a situation where you just feel so overwhelmed with life? It just looks like as you become an adult, you're so overwhelmed by the commitments, your responsibilities, everything that you need to do as a mom, as a wife, as an employee, or as an employer. You want to just be the best. You want to give your A game at everything that you do, and it's looking like parenting is there as well. You want your children to turn out right. You're just not sure if you're doing things right or you're not doing things right at work. You just have to, it's just like there's a lot of pressure. The truth is, you're not alone. Everybody at some point of your life, everybody goes through it, and we go through it at different levels depending on the season of life that we are in. It just looks like life keeps getting busier. I want to share some thoughts that can help you through this season and to navigate this season with grace and capacity. So let's talk about the life of Jesus in the book of Matthew chapter 14 from verse 13. I'll read it out to you. When Jesus heard it, he departed from there by boat to a deserted place. I'm reading from my Bible, so if I'm looking down, I'm reading from the Bible. When Jesus heard it, he departed there by boat to a deserted place by himself. But when the multitude heard it, they followed him on foot from the cities. And when Jesus went out, he saw a great multitude, and he was moved with compassion for them, and he healed their sick. When it was evening, his disciples came to him, saying, "This is a deserted place, and the hour is late. Send the multitudes away, and that they may go into the villages and buy themselves food." But Jesus said to them, "They do not need to go away. You give them something to eat." And they said to him, "We have only 5 loaves and 2 fish." He said, "Bring them here to me." Then he commanded the multitude to sit down on the grass, and he took 5 loaves and 2 fish. Looking up to heaven, he blessed and broke the loaves to the disciples, and the disciples gave to the multitude. So when they had ate and were filled, they took up 12 baskets full of the fragments that remained. Now, those who had eaten were about 5,000 men, besides women and children. And then, so that's it, to verse 21. Now, let's do a quick backstory. The verse 13 started with, when Jesus heard it. What was it that he heard? Herod had just killed John the Baptist, his cousin, his forerunner. That is some kind of traumatic news. In fact, that is traumatic news. That is enough for anybody to grieve. And if you know one thing about Jesus, Jesus had emotions. He was moved with compassion when the multitude came. He was always moved with compassion to do everything that he did. Aside that, when Lazarus died and he got there, Jesus wept. So Jesus had emotions. So it's not uncommon to say that Jesus wanted to grieve, because when he heard it, he decided to go to a deserted place to be by himself. Now think about it in your situation as a woman. Let's say you're just coming back from work. You've done a lot of things. Like for me, for instance, sometimes I go to work, I just come back, I said everything I need to say at work. I'm just tired. I don't want to talk again. I just want to be by myself. But I come home and I have a little boy says, "Mommy, do you know this? Mommy, do you know that?" From the time you're entering the door, he's already bombarding you with lots of things. That is one demand coming on you after you've met certain demands at work or at your business place, whatever it is that you do. You've done all of those things and you come back. Now let's go back to Jesus. It's safe to say that he needed some space to grieve. Now the multitude heard about it and they decided to follow him there. They went there on foot. And they got there. When Jesus saw them, he was moved with compassion, and he had the capacity to do one thing: leave his need to be by himself, to grieve, whatever, to recover, to process the emotions, to process the thoughts, process everything he had gone through. And he began to minister to the people, healed the sick, he took care of them. It got to a point. So you see what Jesus did? Compassion. He had compassion. And then he decided, the disciples were like, let's send them away. He said, no, let's not send them away. Tell them, let's get them something to eat. So he's healed their sick. He's taught them. Now he wants to feed them. And then the disciples said, we don't have anything. We have just 5 loaves and 2 fish. What did Jesus say? He said, bring them here to me. So imagine, bring them here to me. That's his own instruction. And then he told them to sit down. Let's come back to our lives as women. There are lots of responsibilities that we have, and there will always be a demand. Just imagine, there's demand from work, there's demand from you want to progress in your career, there are exams you need to write or whatever it is you need to do. There are other things that you need to do as well. You need to care for your children, you want the best for them, you are burdened about there are commitments you have at church or whatever organizations that you belong to. There are commitments there, there are family commitments, because don't forget, you have your extended family, you're a daughter, you're a sister, you're an auntie. There are just so many things, and the list is endless. Maybe you have a side hustle as well apart from your work. You need to, there's demand left, right, and center. And the truth is, the demands will come anyway. It doesn't matter if you're grieving. It doesn't matter if you want to be quiet. It doesn't matter if you're going through anything. The demands will come. Just look at Jesus. The demand still came to him, and he was giving. Giving, healing the sick. The virtue was coming out of him, was healing the sick. He wanted to feed them. That is another level of demand. As women, virtue keeps coming out of us because we keep giving and keep giving. The problem is that as we keep giving, we are not refilling the tank. And you would have heard a lot of times, you can't give from an empty tank. You can't give what you don't have. What happens is we keep giving, we keep giving. You see people become compassionate, and then you now meet some women who have become so bitter, so resentful, so angry. Why? Because you've been running on an empty tank. If you are driving, for instance, and then you're running low on fuel, your tank becomes orange or amber, and then the next minute it becomes red. If you don't take care and do the needful, your car will not move because you've run out of fuel. A lot of us keep dishing out, keep dishing out, keep dishing out. Before you know it, you're resentful towards your children, you're resentful towards your husband, you're resentful towards your employee, or even clients, anybody that comes, you become a reactive woman. And that's because we are not doing something. But Jesus had the secret. Jesus had, a demand was placed on him. Let's just not forget he had a need to be by himself. He just had a sad news, and then he had capacity to still leave that aside and meet the needs. But what did he do? He had sad news. He wanted to be by himself. What was he doing by himself? And then when the people came, he met their demands. Do you know, after they all ate, what did Jesus do? He sent the multitude away. There's another account of this in Mark as well. He sent the multitude away so that he could withdraw. Jesus knew when to withdraw. He knew when to come back to the scene. So whether you withdraw or not as a woman, the demands will be placed on you anyway. Your multitude will come. It will keep coming. Your multitude will come and will keep coming. They will always be there. There will always be a need to meet. There will always be a demand. There will always be bills. There will always be everything. But Jesus knew how to withdraw before demand, withdraw after demand. He knew how to do all those things. As women, we must learn it. But how can we do this practically? Let's look at Jesus. If you read this same account in Mark, he told the disciples that they said, oh, we have 5 loaves and 2 fish. He said, bring it here to me. In that 5 loaves and 2 fish, do you know what he had? He had capacity to feed not less than 5,000 people, because 5,000 did not include the women and children, and they all had something to eat, and had 12 basketlets, 5 loaves, 2 fish. It had capacity inside of it. You as a woman, me as a woman, let's take ourselves as the 5 loaves and 2 fish. It looks like I'm just so small. Who am I? I have lots of people, lots of demands on me, but this is me. What did Jesus say? He said, bring that. Bring what you have. Bring yourself. You are what you have. inside of you is the capacity to meet the needs of all those demands that are in your life. There is grace for it, and we can do it and still be sweet women. Women with capacity to be kind to others. Women with capacity to lead with grace. See, anybody can become a monster overnight. No, it doesn't happen overnight. It happens when you keep dishing out, dishing out, dishing out, and you are not refueling yourself. Some women will do some things and you'll be like, no, some women have, it looks like it's personality disorder. One minute they're compassionate, they're kind. The next minute, what they do is so wicked to other people. You're like, ha. You know, and in whatever capacity that you are, we all have that potential. We just need to learn how to withdraw and how to come back to the sin. And that's what Jesus did. So he said, bring it here to me. Bring it inside of you is that capacity. But you cannot explore that capacity if you don't bring yourself to the one who has created you. Jesus had needs. That's why he separated himself and he knew where to find where to meet his needs. You as a woman, who will meet your needs? Everybody wants a man that is kind, a man that will care for you, a husband that is present, a father that is this. We all want that. Placing huge demands on men. But the deepest needs in you, who satisfies it? The needs that a man cannot satisfy. Needs like what? Needs like acceptance, identity, purpose. A lot of us do things, you get into a space, you just want to feel like you belong. And it looks like the people don't receive you. Even Jesus was not received in so many places, but he was still going around with the confidence of being the Son of God. Who are you? Who created you? Did you create yourself? No, you came from somewhere. But you will not strut around like that with confidence if you do not learn to go back to the source. So let me introduce you to Jesus. Jesus made you. Jesus created you. You have to bring yourself to him so that you can access the capacity that you have inside of you to meet all these things. They say, oh, how to balance life, how to balance life. There is no balance if you first of all don't know your source, if you don't go back to your source, if you don't bring yourself to say, bring the 5 loaves to me, bring them here to me, bring you to Jesus. So come to Jesus. What are you still waiting for? Come to Jesus. If you are tired, you are weary, you are burdened, everything is just laid on you. Come and find rest in the one who can meet your deepest and core needs. Your need for acceptance, your need for identity. That you don't have to force relationships. You don't have to force things. You don't have to start placing people, looking for approval everywhere. You just want to feel like your life has meaning. In Jesus, you will find all of those things met. When they are met, you have the capacity in you to meet all those demands and to meet them with grace. So Jesus told them, we're going practical now. In the account in Mark, he said, divide the people, tell them to sit down. And they sat down in groups of hundreds and fifties. What are your hundreds? What are your fifties? In church, I belong to the host team. And one of the things that we do is to do head count. When I just, I was like, I'm going to count people in this big place that looks like a theater. And you know what we do? Because you can't just be, people don't come in to register on Sundays. Of course, you're coming to church, you just walk in. How do you keep count? How do you know the number of people that are coming in? Because the numbers are dependent on lots of decisions. Lots of decisions that are made are based on the figures that we have. So what do? We don't count people when everybody is standing and worshiping, because there's a lot of movements. Otherwise, you will not get accuracy in numbers. Even if your numbers are not, if you count it properly in an organized way, it might not be 100% spot on. But the nearness to accuracy is very, very high. It's very near the accurate number. We don't count when people are standing and worshiping, going up and down, when children are still around. No. Counting begins when everybody sits down to listen to the message. I don't just go counting, interrupting people everywhere. No. There are specific corners that you go that gives you sight to see everything, and then you can count the people, and it makes life easier for you who is counting, makes life easier. You get more information, more data that you can use for decision making. So as a woman What are the hundreds and fifties? Why not step back and identify the roles that you play and the demands that are expected of you at different phases or in those areas? If you don't organize, if you don't tell to sit, if you don't do that, you will not recognize the areas of your lifestyle like special needs. They require more attention. They require more nurturing. There are those special needs that are like eggs. If you raise it, if you throw it up, it comes down, it breaks. You will not identify areas of your life that will be low maintenance, such that you don't have to do too much to sustain it. If you throw it up, the ball will bounce. You can pick it up at any time. How would you know what is special needs? Otherwise, you begin to waste resources. Remember that after they finished eating, Jesus said, let's gather the fragments. Gathered everything. 12 baskets were left. They gathered everything. If you don't learn to organize yourself, you will waste resources on things that are not even that important. And those that are important, you. And what priority is for each and every one of us is different. What are your priorities? Family, your children, your husband, God, and then you prioritize what is important to you. If you don't learn to do that, you would waste resources, and God does not want wastage. So the first things first, you come to Jesus. The next is to prioritize your life. So you bring yourself to Him. As He said, bring the 5 loaves and 2 fish, and then you sit to prioritize your life. What is important to you? What are the hundreds? What are the 50s? What do I need to pay more attention to? What can I bounce? What are the things? Then you identify the things that are hurting you, things that are draining you. It could be that there are important things in your life, but you are paying more attention to others. So let's identify the things that are wasting your time. The same multitude that Jesus had compassion on met their needs. Jesus knew when to send the multitude away so He could be by Himself. There is no two ways about it. You must find how to separate yourself. Otherwise, you just keep giving, and you run on empty. You'll start snapping at everybody, snapping at your children. You become a reactive woman, and that's not what you want for yourself. And this message is for me as well. That's not what you want for yourself. So, identify the things. The multitude can also be distractions. Let's take, for instance, your after work routine. Sometimes you're so tired, you've come back, you've fed everybody, you just want to lay your bed and relax. And the next minute, you're just scrolling on your phone with the intention to relax. But the truth is, you are really not relaxing. Your mind, everything is still actively working as you are scrolling. And by the time you are done, 2 hours later, you are even more tired than you were when you decided to start, because you are engaging every bit of your mind in what you're doing. Your emotions are engaged. You can see things that will trigger you, all manner of things. So your after work routine, how are you maximizing it to help yourself? You must recognize the multitudes that need to be sent away, the multitude that needs to, you have to have compassion and help. So it's safe to pray that the Lord will give us compassion for the multitudes in our lives and be able to meet their needs and be that graceful woman, that whole woman that God has created you to be. And then after that, let me share some other little tips that could help. We've talked about bringing yourself to Jesus, choosing your priorities, identify what is draining you the most so you can take some things out and replace them with things that are more important to you, because you always have commitments. The next, open communication about all your commitments, especially with your spouse or your significant other, even your children. Let everybody know. Are there career goals you're trying to attain? Because there will be seasons that you need to step back, seasons that you can afford to shoot yourself forward. So communicate them. If you don't communicate, how will they know where to help you? You can't just place burden of, oh, my husband must meet my husband, should meet my husband. If you don't communicate, how will they know where they can help you? Same way for them as well. They can communicate because they have demands. If they communicate, you can see where to slot it so you can meet, because the demands will be there anyway. So you have needs as well. You have commitments. Communicate. Let that communication have a free flow. It's one thing that we all need to learn over and over and over again and keep practicing, because you never get to a point where it's 100%. We keep learning as we go. So you open communication, shared responsibilities at home, working as a team with your family, your everybody. Let everybody know their part and play their part. Let everybody. It doesn't matter how small the eyeballs are or how small this finger is. It doesn't matter how small the body part is. If everybody plays their part, then we have a full functioning home, a full functioning organization. Everybody should play their part, and also regularly review your priorities. Be flexible with them. You can't be rigid in this life, because sometimes 1 plus 1 is not 2. Life is not just black and white. So be flexible in your approach. Regularly review your priorities. I hope that from all of these things, you've learned 1 or 2 things that you can use and implement in your life, so you can balance your life, your marriage, your other commitments and everything together. Till I see you next time. Bye for now.